This week we're going to join Kayla White and Kyle Thompson. Kayla takes her brother-in-law out for the first time and asks him to run a camera.
All right, that's a little complicated. You know, it could be a little dicey, right? You never know.
It could be. I mean, I got two great brother-in-laws, but
I can't picture them buying a camera.
I can't picture them. One of them is a little too OCD, I think, and a little too much ADHD, so he'd be bouncing around in a tree and whatever. So, yeah, it's bless her heart. But let's see if Kayla and her brother-in-law can get it done.
All right.
Well, it's November 9th. Still hunting the rut here in southern Wisconsin. I'm back in the stand that I sat 2 nights ago, and I didn't really have a great hunt. I didn't really see too much. I saw a flicker of the butt of one deer late. Just a few minutes left of close, so kind of disappointing. But the reason I decided to come back and sit here today is we have been getting pictures pick up, not daylight specifically, but between these two food plots. So there's one food plot on one side, and then right out in front of me there's another food plot. And I think with the one food plot out in front of me, with the temperatures that we've been getting pretty cool overnight, I think maybe they finally got some frost and the turnips are turning sweet. So I wanted to sit here because I can see a lot from this stand. So 2 different food plots. I can see a trail on one hill far away. There's a big egg field out in front of me, and then the hill behind me where we have noticed quite a bit of rut activity last year. And we did hang a stand up in there, but I wanted to sit here just so that I had visibility to more land, and then if I do happen to see a buck, try to get one to come in with a grunt. So that was the rationale to sit here. I thought I heard a grunt early this morning when it was still dark, but haven't seen anything. There's a nice sunrise behind me, so we'll sit here a few hours and see if we see an activity. Turkeys are going crazy. Not terribly far from me. I've never quite heard anything like that. I'm not really sure what's happening. I heard a few gobbles. Initially, it started to record that, but it kind of turned into something I haven't heard before. Well, it's about mid-morning. I've had a decent sit this morning. It's starting to warm up a little bit, but got a little chilly. I got a glimpse of 2 different deer. I think they're moving around quite a bit all around me, but from this spot I've only seen 2. I've got a glimpse of, just glimpses of both of them, but the one looked like a decent buck. But of course, every time I'd pull up the binoculars to get a closer look, he'd disappear into the brush. So, it was probably 80 yards away when I first saw him. And then he went up on the opposite hillside over there. I did try to grunt just to see if that would draw him back to this side, but I never saw him again after that. So he went on his merry way somewhere else. So I'm probably going to pack up here soon and probably be back out this afternoon. Well, it's the afternoon of November 9th. I sat on this property this morning. I knew that there were bucks around me, but I only saw a glimpse of two different bucks. So decided to come back to this spot. I have more visibility up onto the hill. Got a water hole. There's a fresh scrape right out in front. I have a guest cameraman with me today, my brother-in-law. He's never really bow hunted before, so he was home for the weekend and willing to come out with me this afternoon. So I hope we have some bucks on their feet and have some activity this afternoon.
Nice shot.
Mitch and I had been sitting here, and we hadn't even seen a deer yet. And all of a sudden, Mitch motioned to me and saw this buck coming. Like 17-yard shot right here, right out in front of me. I thought the shot might have looked a little bit low. He's still out here right on the trail right in front of us, so hopefully with just a little bit of time, hopefully I'll have my tag filled. Well, we just got down out of the stand, and we have good blood here already, not 20, 30 yards from where I shot him, so it gets pretty brushy down here, but we sat in the stand for a while, and we know he's down here in this thicket somewhere, so we're gonna take a look and get him out of here. Well, I'm super proud to put my tag on this buck. There was one deer that was off limits, and I actually showed Mitch a picture of that buck and said, don't let me get excited and shoot this deer. There's one that really has potential that we really would like to let go. But last year, I did not fill a tag, so bow or rifle. So made myself a double batch of tag soup last year, and I spent a lot of time out in the woods, a lot of time self-filming last year and this year already, almost 2 months. Pretty consistently I've been out in the woods. So to take everything that I've learned the last 2 seasons and be able to finally fill a tag this year, and to have my brother-in-law, who has only went out and sat bow hunting 1 time, pretty cool experience. So like I said, I couldn't be any prouder, and I'm super happy with this hunt and this year. And it's about closing time now, so we're gonna get this deer drug out and off to celebrate my mom's birthday. So awesome job.
Nice work.
Thanks. Well, next up is Kyle, and he's also doing something different, and he's self-filming for the first time.
He is. Usually he has, Tyler goes with him, or, somebody. He does a lot of self-filming, but he, there's, as we talked about, in prior episodes and prior things, there's a lot of things that go into self-filming and how difficult it can be. So, let's follow along with Kyle and see how he does.
Alright guys, well, we made it to the stand. And, like I said, on my way in here, I'm sitting on in between 2 ridges that come up to this point. And it's thick on both sides, and then down in the bottom is a swamp. It's definitely a funnel area. I got a scrape up here over my left shoulder in the food plot. About 50 yards away. I'm hoping that this buck is bedded down here in this bowl in front of me. Wind's in my face. For some reason they like this spot in the woods, so if a buck comes, he should come right up through here, so we'll see what happens. Well, guys, we just smoked a dandy buck at 23 yards, and I don't know if I got it on film. I haven't checked the footage yet, but we stopped, and I went to drew back, and he looked this way, so I stopped. Then he took a couple steps when I drew. I just completely forgot to make sure he was in the screen. Oh, dang. You know, we try so hard to get it on film, and then it comes in perfect, and there's so much going on. God, I can't believe I forgot to do that. But it's so quiet when he came in. And he's so close, and I should have waited till he got to the screen, but I did the same thing last year. I waited and I ranged too much, and I ended up screwing that up, and this time I didn't want to do that, so. I want to check the footage and see if I got it. Maybe I got lucky, but I don't think I did. Alright, well, here he is. It's the next morning. He went about 200 yards from the shot, and he had the arrow in him, and I must have stuck it in the offside shoulder. We didn't find blood until he kicked the arrow out, and then he started bleeding, but just thought we'd give you a little bit better view. It's always hard to get good footage at night, so so yeah, here he is. This is the buck that had been hanging out in that spot, and honestly, he's a lot bigger in person than I thought he was on camera. And this is the first buck that I've killed in 6 years. And as you'll see in the footage, he came in and we put this stand up in a big oak tree, and it's kind of a hassle for self-filming. But I didn't get the kill shot on film, which that's just part of it with self-filming. You know, everything goes right until it doesn't, and I got everything good on film until the shot, and he was just out of the frame when I shot. But I'm tickled pink. Like I said, this is the first buck I've killed in 6 years, so, and I got to do it with my dad and my girls, which makes it a memory that'll last forever. So here he is, and I'm tickled to death.
Hey, if you like what you see, be sure to check us out on social media.
Yeah, you know, like I'm doing right now, you know, Snapgram, Face Chat, Instabook, Twitter Box, you know, all those cool things on the interweb.
Those aren't things. Go to Art Helen Outdoors and own the season, and like, share, and follow us on all your favorite social media outlets for the latest content.